Alright, I hope everyone's free poll has been going well. I wanted to make a video about limit break SSR crystals since a lot of us will have enough to make one with the shard soon, and some might even have two if they haven't touched their first one. I will be breaking it into three sections: cards that will be good in general to use on due to longevity and effectiveness, some SSR cards that are coming up that I know a lot of people are curious about, and then future cards that are worth considering. And if you enjoyed the video, do leave a like and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate it. And comment down below if you have any questions or disagree with my thoughts, I would love to hear them. So we're first going to talk about cards that are worth using it on in general, and I call them the big three. Okay, that sounds a lot more cringe than I thought. I'm sure most of us already know which three the cards are, these cards being Kitasan Black, Fine Motion, and Super Creek. That being said, I personally wouldn't just use the crystal whenever possible on these cards. I would recommend only using crystal on these three cards to get them to 3 limit break and or max limit break. The main reason is that most cards hit their biggest power spike at 3 LB and MLB. For Kira-san Black, if you go from 0 to 1 LB, you get a nice little boost by giving you an additional power. 1 to 2 doesn't really give you much, and then 2 to 3, aside from the little bonus from effects like friendship bonus and mood effect and all that, you see a big jump in specialty priority plus 40, and then from 3 to 4 is just another plus 40 on specialty priority and a little bit extra starting friendship as well. 2 LB to 3 LB is definitely has the highest value, and then from 3 LB to 4 LB will have the second highest for this card. For fine motion, you going from 0 to 1 LB gives a wit bonus, which isn't bad. 1 to 2 doesn't really give much, and then from 2 to 3 unlocks mood effect, which on top of all the other existing effect gives quite a significant boost to this card. And then 3 to 4 just gives more mood effect, which is great. And in my opinion, going to 4 or MLB gives the most significant boost for this card in particular because it also increases the race bonus to 10%, which if you have MLB Fine Motion, you'll be able to comfortably slot her in for basically any deck in the next scenario. Finally, for Super Creek, 0 to 1 LB gives a stamina bonus, which is quite nice. Again, 1 to 2 LB doesn't really give much, and then 2 to 3 LB unlock the initial friendship gauge, and then when you go to 3 to 4 LB, just double that initial start amount. If you ever use my Ano Top Gun SR stamina card, we've all been there. You know it's not a good time mentally having a card that starts at 0 friendship. 0 LB to 1 LB spike for cards isn't bad in general, but in my opinion, that level of card strength increase isn't significant for me to use a crystal for that small boost. I would rather wait till I can use it to get a card to 3 LB or MLB or save it for other cards down the line. These three cards are generally safe option to use your crystal on, as anytime from now to cards that are directly power creep these cards, you can use your crystal on these cards for their 3 LB or MLB. Out of these three, I would prioritize Kita-san Black first, then Fine Motion, and then Super Creek. That being said, depending on the context of your account, this priority might be different, so adapt based on your situation. This is just in general, in my opinion. For example, if you already have Kita-san to 3 LB, or if you can get to MLB on Fine Motion to use it on the next scenario with the 10% raise bonus, Fine Motion will likely be a better priority for you. But if you're, say, like a newer player, Kira-san will likely be a better priority for you. You also don't need to get a card to MLB if you don't think you need to. For example, I have a 3 LB Kira-san and I have a crystal. And actually, I even have the ticket still to use it on, but I decide not to. Why, you might ask? As mentioned earlier, 3 LB to MLB, the main difference is 40 specialty priority, which is a lot. But it's not like that's going to stop my Kita-san from quite literally going on vacation during every single one of my summer camps anyways. But if you want a more logical reasoning, it's because 3 LB is already strong enough in my eyes, and I'd rather save these in case I get like a fine motion down the line where I can get that to 3 LB or MLB and then have the flexibility there. And if that doesn't work out, we can save them for future cards, or maybe if some other cards come along, like a Super Creek that can get it to 3 LB, then I can use those crystals for that instead. Now let's address the upcoming cards that people will be curious about. Machikane Fukukitaru speed card, and the Narita Top Road speed card. In my opinion, they both follow the same concept of the other cards mentioned earlier, where if you want to use Crystal on them, I would recommend only using it if you can hit 3 LB or MLB with the crystals. That is because both of these cards get race bonus starting at 3 LB, which is of course important for the next scenario. Personally, for these cards, I would prefer only doing it if you're aiming for MLB for the 10% race bonus, which allow more flexibility with your card choices for the next scenario, but that really depends on person per person basis as everyone have different account with different support card strength and variety. Now, these cards have their pros and cons when comparing to each other and also comparing to the other cards mentioned earlier. When you're comparing between these two with the other three, these two cards individually hold higher value than any of the other three individually for the next scenario, but at the same time, that's also their weakness as their strength are short term while the other three has a higher consistency of value for a much longer duration. Now, between these two cards against each other, Fukukitaru beat Narita Top Road in terms of longevity, as you can use Fukukitaru for one more scenario after the next one we'll be having. The benefit of Narita Top Road is that the banner overall is better in my opinion. While we are supposed to get 50 free pulls for the Fukukitaru banner, Narita Top Road banner we should be expecting 100 free pulls. Narita Top Road banner also consists of 3 SR cards that are rated up, one of which you really want to get it to MLB if you can, that being a Meyer Vega gut card. This card will be very, very good for the next scenario, and if you can, I would advise people to try to aim for MLB of this card. Now we enter what I call the late game. If you have seen my future pull priority video, I've talked about some good SSR cards in the future worth considering. Some of the cards I mentioned in the video is like Mr. CB Wit card, Martinsky Speed card, which are certainly very good cards for their respective style. But for me, they are not as worth because they are not as universal as the other cards that we've mentioned before, such as Kida-san and Fine Motion. I'm not saying it's not worth using your crystal on them at all, but I would do it if you really like the style that these cards specialize for, whereas Mr. CB is for end closer while Summer Maru is for front runner. And the same rule applies to these cards where I would recommend using crystal on them only if you can get them to 3 LB or MLB. If you look at these two cards in particular, by unlocking 3 LB and MLB, they just get mood effect unlocked at 3 LB and then doubling that to 30 mood effect at MLB for both of these cards, similar to Fine Motion. Which, on top of all these other effects stacking up together, makes it a pretty significant jump. Now, if you're a psycho like me and wants to play for the Giga late game, here are two SSR cards you might want to consider saving some of your crystal for. Alcandar Pasa Speed card and Majiro Ramonu Wit card. Consider these two cards as the next generation of Speed and Wit card, beating Kira-san Black and Fine Motion. These two cards are so good that I would recommend getting them to MLB if you can, as they also have a decent longevity as well. Now, it will be a long time before these cards get released, and I'm not suggesting you to save all your crystal from here on out for these cards. No, no, no. That's just letting your resources rot for no reason. If you hit any of the breakpoint for the big three mentioned earlier, I would recommend using it on those first, but certainly I would recommend thinking of saving some for these cards. I'm saying this now because if you see my video talking about them, depending on which UMA banner you want to pull from now to then, along with support cards banner, your carrot supply might be tight around the time these banner comes around. You have some flexibility with Ramonu since she will have a rerun banner, but right after her rerun banner immediately is the Alcantara Pasa banner, and I do not believe this card will have a rerun, so you would really want to have Crystal in hand in case you don't have much carrots to pull on multiple copy of this card. That being said, there will be other speed cards after Alcandar Pasta that are like side grade upgrades in certain situations, but that's going way too far into the future for now. I want to thank all of you for watching, and I hope this video has helped some of you. If you enjoyed it, do leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions, concern, disagreement. Leave them all down below. I would greatly appreciate everyone's input. I wish you guys a good rest of your day. Thank you guys. Have a good one. Take care.